Won't be able to speak.
I just have a...
No, you won't be able to speak because there was a motion to call the question, and as you know, I can't press a button when you're in the chair. So, but I did advise Deputy Mayor Hamilton that I would be speaking. So we're gonna vote, and I really don't want to take much more time other than to say a couple of things. A lot of people are saying things are political. The fact that this issue was raised and wanting to take a different direction from our current policy, that's political. And at the end of the day, that's okay because we live in a democracy and political views get brought forward. So I've always respected the multiculturals and the ethnic. Yeah. So I always have appreciated the expressions of the diversity that we have in our community. And I think in many respects, the city of Markham has really been a poster child when it comes to celebrating diversity and inclusivity in our community. I'm just going to make a point. I think many have covered the points that can be talked about and maybe debated for even a few more hours. But I would just say this. I want to reiterate one more time that will have their points of view and they can continue to express them elsewhere. Okay, that's fine. I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, people have their points of view and they can continue to express them elsewhere. I would just say this, that we've taken great pride in many events that have taken place in Markham. We are Canada's most diverse community, and that gets reflected in a number of ways, and it's not just by flag raisings. And by the way, when we have the flag raisings, as has been commented, it's not just about flying a flag, it's about many times either sharing in the culture, tradition, or some of the food. It's a learning experience about learning from each other. And I want to reiterate that it's not in any way an endorsement of a particular country or a particular regime or a particular head of state, even if you don't agree with the politics that's going on. It is about the people. And let me tell you something. There's no greater pride when I go through this community and people of all ages, whether it's a senior citizen who can, just sing "O Canada" and get everyone to join in, or whether it's a young person who has parents who've come from a different part of the world who haven't taken the time to come up to me and say, "Thank you for flying that flag." Now, you know what? I could engage that person. Well, why do you say that? Are you proud of your country's record on human rights? Are you proud of your history? And that would embark on a completely different process. And it's a process, to be honest with you, that is a process that happens in many circles. But don't underestimate the value of a young person seeing a flag from the country that their parents came from, and all of a sudden that instant connection to say, our community is valued in the city of Markham. There's no greater explanation than having that flag here to reflect the people who've made what our community is. And I'm sorry, if we're going to raise the flag in this community, it's not going to take a back seat at some other community center. It's going to be front and center right here at the seat of government, because we make the strongest statement that that diversity is appreciated here in this community. And yes, as others have said, the world is a very imperfect place. But if we're going to continue to make members of our community somehow be disengaged from their local government, somehow be disengaged from the representatives that they have, We will never, ever, as a world, continue to address some of those issues. We want people engaged. We want them to feel included and to celebrate their richness and culture and tradition that may be celebrated in their home, may be celebrated in their place of work, may be celebrated in their place of worship, but is also recognized here in the seat of government. And that's not to take away any of the issues that were raised about injustices around the world, but if we're going to diminish all of the positive things that those flag raisings have meant in our community, we will be taking a step back. And so I will not be supporting this motion to stop the raising of the flags here at the City of Markham, and I hope that this motion gets defeated and then a new motion could be put on the floor that we continue to have the current policy as it exists today. And I do thank the many perspectives, and I encourage, but I don't want to start naming names, but I encourage those that have come here and raised social and injustice issues, you keep going out there through the many mechanisms that you have, but don't diminish both the connection, the celebration, and the pride that thousands of residents have in being a part of the City of Markham, no matter where they've come from, which part of the world, and no matter what their history has been over the many centuries and leading even up to today. Those communities are part of our community, and I want them to feel as strong a connection here as they would as if they might even be living back in their land of origin. That is what's made Canada the best country in the world. So with that, we're going to now have the question, and so members of council are clear. I'm going to ask for a recorded vote.
On number.
You can display the motion. It's contained in the agenda, but you can display it just so everyone is clear.
I'd like to split the clauses and pull out number 4.
Okay. And so we'll just wait for it to be displayed.
Mr. If I could say.
So that the entire motion has been moved, and second was moved by Councillor Keys and seconded by Deputy Mayor Hamilton, and I've had